Good morning, Knicks Nation. Today is Wednesday, the 14th of July, 2021. I hope that you are healthy and COVID-free, and that your family and your household are also healthy and COVID-free. And if you should be unfortunate enough to catch or to develop any of these type of sicknesses, that your wellness and recovery is speedy. Blessings upon those that work in the healthcare field, trying to save lives, and those that pick up garbage for us to keep our places clean, and those that make deliveries for us, sometimes for just tips. Remember them. Double blessings on those trying to deliver boys and girls, men and women, children, even babies, from human trafficking, sex exploitation, and pedophilia, as well as, unfortunately, child molestation, sometimes even in their own homes. Curses upon those that perform these acts and support this disgusting industry. Finally, blessings on those that are helping the homeless. 600,000 people in the United States, sometimes living in tent cities, in parks and benches, in cars, on sidewalks, in boxes. Sometimes families, veterans. Blessings upon them and the millions around the world that are even in worse situations. And upon those that are trying to help. And upon those themselves, for theirs is the kingdom. About 2 weeks ago, we talked about the possibility of Colin Sexton. We talked about the possibility of Colin Sexton, and I told y'all at that time that Cleveland would be looking for Obi Toppin. Oh, sounds like somebody in Shams agrees with me. More importantly, sounds like Leon Rose agrees with me. For it's been reported, and Shams is one of those reputable ones, Shams, Ian Begley, and of course Wojnarowski. Shams has reported that the Knicks are aggressively pursuing Colin Sexton, and reportedly, the deal sounds like Obi Toppin, Kevin Knox, and our 21st pick from this year, which sounds fair to me. Okay? So, now, it could possibly not happen. I mean, obviously, right? We're in the summer. This is, crazy season for rumors, especially with the Knicks. But Shams reported this, so you got to figure it's legit. Now, that doesn't mean it's going to go through. It means they're negotiating, okay? Or they're waiting for draft night. Ooh, draft night is going to be lit. 15 days from now, it's going to be lit. But let's assume, for the sake of argument, that this does happen, that the Knicks obtain Colin Sexton for what we just stated, for Obi Toppin, Kevin Knox, and this year's 2021 pick, the 21st pick that we got from Dallas. Now, from this point, I want to show you how Colin Sexton can turn into Kelly Olynk, and how we would still get 3 picks this year. 2 firsts and a second. Okay? This is the power. Again, I want to tell you before we even get started. The Kristaps Porzingis trade is the gift that keeps on giving. The Kristaps Porzingis trade is the gift that keeps on giving. And we got to give props to Steve Mills. Some of y'all just, because I don't know, maybe you got something in your butt or whatever. I'm not saying Steve Mills was the perfect president. But shoot, man, as it turns out, not signing KP to the $150 million was correct. As it turns out, trading his injury-prone behind to Dallas for 2 future firsts, we fleeced him. As it turns out, the cap space turned into one Julius Randle, and the trades are getting ready to turn into Colin Sexton and what I'm going to tell you today. Now, that's not bad work for one trade. And some of y'all want to give Scott Perry all the props. It was Steve Mills that was standing in front of everybody saying why they did it. It was Steve Mills that everybody was attacking. when it happened. It was Steve Mills that all of us was attacking for signing Julius Randle. But now all of a sudden nobody wants to give him any credit. Gotta be fair, yo. Not vindictive. I know sports is entertainment and people take out their frustrations in sports. I get it. Y'all gotta get a little bit, let's get some level-headedness now. Now saying again, Steve Mills wasn't the smartest president we ever had. He certainly wasn't the worst. And that move changed the course of Knicks history, as we're going to see now going forward. So let's assume, for the sake of argument, the Colin Sexton deal happens. The Knicks get Colin Sexton. Number one, let's go over a couple of things about Colin Sexton that I think some of you are a little bit confused about. Colin Sexton is in the last year of his rookie deal. He's eligible. He would be eligible to get an extension this fall. The maximum of that extension is $168 million. None of that means he's going to actually get that, number one. Number two, if we got him, the trade with Obi Toppin and Kevin, Obi and Kevin are about $11.5 million together. Colin is $6.5. So that trade would actually net us more cap space. Even if they threw in some players that we would eventually waive anyway, it's going to net us about $5 million in cap space for next summer. Now, this is important for next summer. Okay. We get the whole year to see if Colin Sexton works for us. We get the whole year. If he works, if he's the dog I think he's going to be, and he pushes us toward the Eastern Conference Finals, hell yeah, we want to re-sign him, right? Also, we don't have to re-sign him right away. Like, we could extend him and Julius Randle if Julius doesn't take this next year and we want to still keep him. Let's say he settles in. Like, Julius Randle doesn't have to be $200 million. He doesn't have to be 100. He could be somewhere in between. I think his real value is somewhere around 150 over 5 years, 30 a year. I think that's his real value if he continues to develop. But that's another conversation. But we can sign a max free agent next year. If we do this deal, we would still have, after I'm talking to you today, we would still have 30 plus 35. We can create 35 or 40 million next year. Put it that way. We could create that and still be in line for free agents in 2022. And again, just as a reminder, let me just show you the free agent list in 2022. Okay. Which I'm sure some of you are aware of, but we'll be in line. We'll be in a position to look at, and I'm not saying we're going to get in these guys, but I'm just telling you who's going to be on the market. Stephen Curry, Chris Paul, Kawhi Leonard, Gary Harris. All those guys on the market next summer. We're not done yet. Wait a minute. Then you got, those are just the unrestricted, and there's a lot more, but I'm just talking about the guys we'd be interested in. And then you're talking about your player options, James Harden, Russell Westbrook, Kevin Durant, Bradley Beal, Jimmy Butler. All we need is one of these guys. All we need is one. Let's say Kevin Durant wants to come. He'll be 34. Listen, at 34 years old, you put Kevin Durant on the wing, I think we'll be happy with that. And I would pay him $80 million for 2 years. You understand? I would do that. Right? Even the Pillsbury Doughboy James Harden. I don't know if I want him, but I'm just saying. They're available. And then all of your favorite, Bradley Beal. He's got a player option. Okay? So, and he'll be 29. We could offer him a max. See what I'm saying? So we'll be in a position by getting Colin Sexton this year. We'll be in a position. Still, I'm going to tell you how in a second, but we'll be in a position to do that. Plus still get 3 good rookies this year. This is the year you want to get the rookies. Okay. I don't know what the future, picks are going to be like because all these high school kids coming in. I ain't seen hardly any of them, but this year, this is the best draft. Like, man, I think the 2010 draft was amazing. And but this year is going to be something else. 96 we talked about, but this year is going to be something. This is something else right here. So this is a deep draft. So this is the draft you want to get some stuff. So let's talk about this now. So you get a Colin Sexton. You gave up your 21st pick. That means you got your 19th, 32nd, and 58th pick. What we have to decide then is at 19, What's more important at 19? Because you want wings and you still want a point guard. You say, why would you want a point guard if you get Colin Sexton? Because you will now have Emmanuel Quickley, Colin Sexton, and another guard. You have a 3-guard rotation. Okay. And you could be dynamite if you get a good one. Because a lot of good ones here. Okay. So you still want to get a guard that can shoot and defend. So now at 19, you got to decide, should I get my wing or should I get my guard? I'm saying get the wing. And to me right now, the wing I rate the highest right now for us is Trey Murphy III. He'll be there at 19. Okay, he'll be there at 19. I would get him. 6'9". I believe he could guard 4s, 3s, 2s. Trey Murphy III. 7-foot wingspan. Hits the spot up 3 right now like money. And give him some time to develop off the dribble. I want this kid. I mean, I know Duarte's good. I want Murphy. So I would snatch him at 19. Then what I'm going to do, I want McBride. Or Trey Mann. Okay, I haven't gone into a video with him yet. Again, we're going to do that, but let's just say for you, because there's a lot of Trey Mann fans out here in Knicks Nation, and I'm cool. That's cool. He got his ups and downs. He got his negatives and positives. We can talk about that, but he's a worthy choice. If he's not snatched up by 19, I think Trey Mann has a possibility of going in the late 20s, like 24, 25, and down to 30. Him and McBride. McBride might even fall into the second round, but I don't think so. But we want to make sure we get one of them. Okay? How are we going to do that? This is where you use the Dallas 2023 pick. You use the Dallas 2023 pick and pick 32, and you trade, and you get one of them two, which I think you could do. Especially the likelihood is, of course, that one of them two players are going to be on a team that's a playoff team that's probably, they're not going to get no time anyway. So you might be helping them out, by giving them that 2023 pick plus your 32 for this year. That gets you your guard. So let's say it's Trey Mann. It could be McBride. I'm going to say McBride because the Knicks have worked him out and interviewed him. So they're obviously interested in him. So let's say we got McBride and we got Murphy. Okay. And you might say, man, let's call it a day. We good. We're not done yet. We got the 58th pick. Not only that. Do you realize that I think it's 2023 if I'm not mistaken? Let me see here. I think it's 2023. I think it's 2023. I'm going to, all right, so let's see. All right, hang on. I'm going to tell you right now. But I think we got there's one of these drafts that we got 3 or 4 second round picks. It's kind of ridiculous. We got so many second round picks. We got to do something with them. Let me see. I'm going to tell you right now. The New York Knicks, they got their own in 2023. They got Dallas first round. In the second round, they got their own in 2023. We got our own in 2024. No, I'm sorry. Yeah, we got a lot of second round picks, y'all. We got a lot of second round picks. So, yeah. So anyway, I'm saying, give them the Dallas 2023 pick. Give somebody the 2023 second rounder. Give somebody the 58th, the second rounder, and cash. The Knicks got plenty of cash. $1 million, $2 million, and move up from 58 and get Joe Wieskamp from Iowa, a sharpshooter on the wing out of Iowa. Okay? We could do that. That's not impossible. The Knicks have done that in the past. They paid cash to move up in the second round. Matter of fact, I think that's how we got Mitchell Robinson. You move up in the second round and you get the guy you want. Because I think Wieskamp's probably going to go in that 40 to 50 range, and we're picking at 58. So I don't think it's a big stretch for us to take the 58th pick, package it with a second in the future and cash and get Joe Wieskamp. Now, that's not crazy. So now you could get Trey Murphy III, Miles McBride, and Joe Wieskamp. and you still got Colin Sexton. Okay? Now, let's talk about money. I just said, the deal that's proposed, even like I said, even if Cleveland throws in some minimum contract players to make the money work, if we want to make it more even, we're going to waive them anyway. So now you're going to end up with $55 million in cap space. Okay? This year. You still got money. What I'm going to do? I'm going to go put the squeeze on Pat Riley. And I'm going to put an offer sheet out to Duncan Robinson. And my offer sheet's going to be between 80 and 84 million for 4 years. It's going to have a 15% trade kicker in it. Okay? Guaranteed. Here, Pat. Match that. Okay? We put the squeeze on. Now, if he go ahead and bites and signs Cap, fine. We go to the next in order. We still, in my estimation, the 4 wings that I would like us to look at this year that are worth us getting at various prices. Now, to me, Duncan Robinson is number 1. When he came available and he talked about exploring the mess, he became number 1. Then I want Norman Powell next. Then I'm talking about Kelly Oubre Jr. And finally, the 4th on the list is DeMar DeRozan. And that was really dependent on Kyle Lowry. If we're going in the Sexton route, then Lowry is out the market. And again, I want y'all to understand, we're not talking about Lowry and Sexton. It's Lowry or Sexton. These are 2 separate scenarios that we have options to do. Okay. So, but if we get Colin Sexton, we're not talking about Kyle Lowry anymore. That's it. Okay. That's out. So we put the squeeze. Now, if he decides, no, I ain't doing that 15% trade kicker, no 84 million. And he might do that. You know why he might do that? Because he got to pay Bam Adebayo $28 million. He's got to pay Jimmy Butler $31 million. He's still got decisions to make. He needs a point guard, and he got Kendrick Nunn. He probably going to let Kendrick stay, pay him about 15. Okay? So, he got Tyler Hero as a shooter coming off the bench. Now, I hear that Miami's interested in Sexton. Riley is slick, but they ain't got nothing. They ain't got no draft picks this year. No first or seconds. Okay? They got to sign and trade somebody. Maybe they want to exchange Kendrick Nunn for Sexton. I think our deal is better because Cleveland already got the number 3 pick. They get the 21st pick plus Obi, who they wanted. And some of y'all don't understand, why would they get Obi when they didn't draft him? Come on, baby. Every team's got a list of players they want. Obi and Okoro were the 2 guys at the top of the Cleveland list. They decided on Okoro. And you can understand why, because they were trying to stress defense, which they don't know how to play yet. So they got the defender. We know that Obi was weak on the defensive end. That was coming out of college. But they were still looking at him hard. It's not like they didn't want him. They could only pick 1. And I told y'all that night, I said, if Obi doesn't get picked by Cleveland, he's going to come to the Knicks because he's going to go straight through. Because everybody else had their picks set up. That's the way it was going. Okay? If Obi was picked by Cleveland, we would have got obviously somebody else. But since they picked Okoro, Obi was going to fall to us. But Cleveland wanted him. They still want him. He's their starting 4 if they get him. So that's that, right? So they're going to have the 3rd, the 21st. If they make the deal for Obi, they won't take Evan Mobley. At that point, they could take Suggs. They could take Jalen Green, whichever one's available. Okay? And they could slap them right in and play right off the bat. See what I'm saying? So, yeah, that's how that rolling. So, because Green is basically Kevin Porter Jr. without the off-the-court issues. That's what you got right there. So Kevin Porter Jr. was a steal for them at 30. But, off-the-court issues caused them to get rid of him. But now you get Jalen Green, same talent, but now no off-the-court issues. So they would love to get him, so that's what's going to happen. That's the thing. So now, the Knicks would have $55 million in cap space. We would pay, let's say, $20 million for Duncan Robinson. That gets us $35 million. Okay? $35 million. We go ahead and sign Kelly Olynk. Because why? We need a backup 4 now. Now we need a backup 4. If we trade Obi, we need a backup 4. We were trying to find minutes for Obi. But if we trade Obi, we need a backup 4. Okay? Kelly Olynyk's unrestricted free agent, coming off a deal. His last year of the deal, he just got paid $12.5 million. And that's about his market. That's the max market for him right now, I'm saying. So I would give Kelly Olynyk a 2-year deal for $25 million. Second year, only $5 million is guaranteed on a team option. So I will give him 12.5 this year, and we got a 12.5 option on him to follow the second year, and $5 million of it is guaranteed. So he knows if we decide to come loose, at least he's getting $5 million. Okay, players like that. So now next year, let's say we cut him loose, pay him the $5 million. Okay, we still got $30 million in cap space, and we got players we can trade. We just got 3 rookies out of this class, plus we still got players we could trade on a sign and trade for Kawhi Leonard, or on a sign and trade for who else? What are we talking about? You're talking about Kawhi Leonard. You're talking about Kevin Durant. You're talking about Bradley Beal. You're talking about these players are available. And we just had Colin Sexton and Duncan Robinson added to the team in 2021. And hopefully we made it into the second round and we pushed it, either made it to the Eastern Conference Finals or came close in a 7-game loss or something. And you know how players think? You know, a guy like a Kawhi, a guy like a Durant, you know, they don't want to come and try to be the man. They want a team. So they would look at that. If we got past the second round, they would look at that and say, dang, all the Knicks are missing is me. That's the way guys like that think. Oh, all the Knicks are missing is me. And they be right. Okay? And we work with it at that point. Okay? So look, I'd trade, as much as I love Duncan Robinson and I want him on the team, if you telling me we could get Kevin Durant and we send Duncan Robinson to sign and trade, done deal. Done deal. Okay? Done deal. That's what I'm saying. Okay? So let me go back over this. I know this is a lot, so let me go back over this. So let's assume, again, we're assuming we get Colin Sexton for Obi Toppin, Kevin Knox, and our 2021, this first round pick we got from Dallas, which is the 21st pick. We gain $5 million, okay, in cap space. We go out and sign. We put a killer offer out there for Duncan Robinson. We get him. So now you got Colin Sexton, Duncan Robinson. You go ahead and sign an unrestricted free agent, Kelly Olynk, for $25 million over 2 years. There's your backup to Julius Randle, and he's a stretch shooter. Okay. Now you're starting 5: Colin Sexton, Duncan Robinson, R.J. Barrett, Mitchell Robinson, Julius Randle. Coming off the bench, Derrick Rose, Emmanuel Quickly. Okay, Kelly Olynk. You still got Taj Gibson. Okay, you might have had to let Nerlens Noel walk. Okay, now you got 3 rookies. I'm telling you, you could play Trey Murphy. You could play Wise Kemp. Wise Kemp is a Tibbs type of kid. I see Joe Ingles with him. I see Joe Ingles, a hard-working dude that can shoot the lights out already, but too slow, not athletic enough, but willing to bust his butt to come off the bench. Now you're talking about discount double check. Somebody said Nova can't be like Duncan Robinson. Duncan Robinson is way better than than Novak ever was. That's what I'm saying. I'm just saying. But Novak could shoot like Duncan Robinson, but Duncan Robinson is better. But more closely to that is Wise Kemp, because he ain't got the athleticism. He's not going to guard anybody too well. Looks like, but he can shoot the lights out. So we got another shooter. So now we got a bench we got a rotation that's Tibbs 10, right? Plus we still got McBride and Murphy that we developing. We in good shape. We got the vets in Taj, D Rose, Randall. These are the vets, right? That you got. You still got your Olenek. You got your vets. You got vets with playoff experience, right? And now you got young kids that's hungry to push forward. And that's not even including, you got to understand, RJ's going to be better this coming season. He's going to be better than he was last year. He's going to take steps forward. You got to understand that. If Mitchell Robinson stays healthy this past season, we might have beat Atlanta, even with Alfred Payton. We can keep this kid healthy. We rolling. Now we rolling. That all happens with a Colin Sexton trade. Okay? It's a different scenario with Kyle Lowry. I'm going to tell you that right now. It's a different scenario with Kyle Lowry. But with Kyle Lowry, we just keep our 19, 21, and 32. And we still get the guys we want. You know what I'm saying? We still get the guys we want. But with Kyle Lowry, right? But and then you still might be able to get a Duncan Robinson. But the thing is that in that scenario, you're with Kyle Lowry for 2 seasons. You're not looking at 2021 now. I mean, you still could. You could make some trades, but it's a different scenario. Versus a Sexton where you're only paying 6.5 this season. That's all you're paying. And you got a 24 point per game scorer or a career 20 point scorer, age 22, a dog that wants to win. Every time he steps on the court, he wants to win, and he's going to put everything into winning. That's what y'all forget, some of y'all, about Colin Sexton. Oh, he doesn't pass enough. Oh, he's a ball hog. Oh, his teammates would complain about him. Let me just, let's be real. Cleveland sucked. Their management was stupid. Signing Kevin Love to $120 million after you lost LeBron James was idiotic. And you drafted 2 point guards that are 6'1", back to back. I mean, come on. We're not dealing with the sharpest nuts in the bowl right here. Okay? So Kobe Altman, he got to make a move to save his face. Okay? So if he can, and the organization liked Obi. So if he come back and get Obi, get a pick, get a young player and Kevin Knox, that at least saves his face because he's looking stupid right now. Okay? So, yeah, there's that. So anyway, that's my proposal. I think if we get Colin Sexton, I think we can still get 3 good players in this draft. 3 good players. And I'm not even mentioning the players that the Knicks are working out that they're going to sign as free agents, like this guy in Belgium. This dude in Belgium, I think he's under the radar. He's working out for a lot of teams now, but I think the Knicks would be looking to sign a guy like that as a free agent who may not get drafted. Okay, so we're in very good position. And like I said, the KP trade, in what I just said, comes to pass. If it does, the KP trade turned into all NBA Julius Randle, 24 point per game Colin Sexton, okay, Joe Wisekamp, McBride, and cap space for Duncan Robinson. Now tell me we didn't win that trade. Woo! Baby, we ready to roll, baby. So that's just one scenario I just named with the Colin Sexton trade. Because I'm telling you, there's going to be a multitude of moves. Now, also, one more thing about Sexton. He's represented by Leon Rose. Now, I want to explain what that means. When I say, I don't know what anybody else means, but when I say Leon Rose once represented Colin Sexton, what I'm saying to you is, it's not that Leon Rose wants a whole crew of players he represents because they're his homies. It don't work like that. Leon Rose wants to win. So he's trying to make New York into a long-term sustainable winner. So if he knows a guy from his previous association and he believes this guy's going to help me win, he'll use that personal touch to try to get that guy. That's what it's about. Because he has connection with the player. And if it was a prima donna, like a KP prima donna type of client, he may not want to talk with him, even though he was represented by him. So just because they were represented doesn't mean that he wants him as a player. But the fact that they're aggressively going after him tells you that Leon understands that Colin Sexton is a dog and that he will help us win long term. And that's what we're looking for in New York. Long term, sustainable winning. What I just told you will set us up to win 50 games a year next 5 years. That's all you can ask for. It's the hardest thing in pro sports to win the NBA championship. Very difficult, y'all. Very, very difficult. Look, the Nets were stacked this year. Lost in the second round. Okay? It's very difficult. I thought Denver or Utah was going to be... They lost. Here's Phoenix. Okay? I thought Milwaukee was done for. I thought Atlanta might beat them. But who knew Atlanta was going to be in the Final Four? Anything could happen, y'all. There's a lot of parity. One more thing I wanted to bring out. Since 2014, look it up. Since 2014, the second round has been lit. And you know why? Since 2014 was Jokic, right? So obviously, but it wasn't just him. There was a lot of players in that second round that are still playing, that are playing at a high level. Why is that? Y'all have to remember, the science of scouting is changing. You got guys that are specializing in certain players, guys that know what they're looking for. It's becoming much more computerized, there's much more detail, much more technicality involved. The science is changing. And so with that in mind, and not only that, on a world scale, basketball is very popular now. I mean, look at Nigeria beating the United States. So what I'm saying is players are getting better. You're discovering more talent, and there's an increase in the science of scouting. So you're going to get the best players now. And so people are going to be, nobody wants to be surprised and pass on the next, Jokic. Nobody wants to be that guy that passes on him or passes on the next Donovan Mitchell. Nobody wants to do that. So they're really scrutinizing the draft. That's why when you get a knuckleheads like the front office in Cleveland, you take advantage of them. But that used to be the Knicks. Not anymore. Because we got the Dom. Y'all have a good day. Be safe out there. Shalom.